Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Live for Five with Honeycomb Consulting Skills Training. I'm Deri Hughes, founder and managing director at Honeycomb, and I'm super excited to be joined today by Mladen Tošić, one of my ex-Bain friends and colleagues, actually, who now is a trainer with Honeycomb. Mladen is a specialist in marketing and commercial transformation, still working as a consultant and training consultants through Honeycomb. And so welcome. Good to see you here, my friend.
Very great to be here.
And we're going to be talking about this question below today. So how can I best handle the first 10 minutes of a C-suite conversation? And this is something that comes up a lot for us and the consultants that we're training. Carries a lot of fear for people, like, oh, right, I'm walking into a C-suite boardroom for the first time, or I'm meeting someone one-to-one for the first time, and I've got to build credibility quickly, or they're going to just reject me. The fear. So, Mladen, how do you go about talking to people about this type of thing?
Yeah, look, thanks, Deri. And indeed, those first few minutes often determine how you're perceived by a senior client. Are you a peer or are you support and just a vendor? So I guess three things often consultants fall into a trap of over-explaining, caveating, maybe even going on the other side and proving themselves too much, dropping in lots of almost too much references about previous work, previous roles, etc. And this all starts to lose their attention. So three things to keep in mind is around how to create clarity, communicate with relevance, and also generate curiosity. So you end up with an actual conversation rather than a monologue. And I have a simple framework. It's purpose, point, and probe. These are 3 Ps, so hopefully easy to remember. First one is around purpose. So you need one sentence to explain very clearly why you're there and what's the desired outcome. Remember, your sort of senior leader that's on the other side that you're talking to, incredibly busy. Lots of things on their agenda. They're coming in with all this noise in their head to talk to you. You need to help them reduce the cognitive load. And the way you do this is you open up with a very clear and simple, I say, one sentence, why we're here and what are we looking to get out of this meeting. So you might say something like, aim is to understand X, or give a view on Y, or get you to decide on Z. One of those. That's a great starting point. It gives purpose to the time you're together. Second thing is you want to orient them. So think about the single most important insight or the main recommendation if you're a mid-project. Don't spend too much time. If you can, don't spend any time on the preamble. Go straight into what matters. This is the way that senior people communicate. And it might be something like, if it's an insight, you might say, look, great insight, market A is doing really well. Market B, we've got a constraint. That's what I want to talk about. Or our recommendation as part of the work that we've done is X because of, Z and Y, and we're going to go into that in a minute. So start with the main message. This will again allow them to cognitively understand the point of the discussion and then be able to almost like, as if, click into with you the main things they want to discuss. Rather than listening to you talk through everything as if it's all equally important to them. So that's the point. And then the last one is probe. So here you want to then move from a monologue into a conversation, because either you need them to make a decision, in which case you need them to start talking, or you need to get reactions and input. So you need 2 sharp questions to really open the conversation. And here you may say, can we probe into a couple of areas together, or let's probe into the implications of this together, and really try to turn and get their input on the key areas where you need decisions, or where you can see there's appetite from their side to share their views. So these are the 3 Ps, and this is how you land that in the first 10 minutes, I think.
I love that. And I think one of the reasons I like it is there's nothing in there that is, right, I've got to pitch my credibility, I've got to pitch my experience. It's David Fields calls it right side up thinking. Like you're thinking, what's most helpful to this person? So first thing, I've got to explain why we're here, so they're oriented. Second thing, I've got to offer them something of value.
Yeah.
Third thing, I just want to get them talking, because what I want from that meeting is to hear from them, to have them talk to me. So that whole curiosity is super important, I think, in terms of like the mindset you come into that conversation with. Like, I'm going to be curious about this person and worry less about what they might think of me.
Yeah.
The other thing there, which takes me back to my Bain days, was concept we talk about sometimes, which is high gain questions, and we don't have time to go into what that is for now. But the idea is that you're asking questions that are thought provoking to the other person, and then they feel like they've had a really interesting, thought provoking conversation, even though you maybe haven't told them anything. You've just stimulated some thinking on their side. Is there any kind of difference you'd make for if this is like the very start of a project versus the middle or towards the end of a project?
Yeah, I think actually the 3 Ps hold throughout, but obviously what your message is, what the objective of the meeting is going to be different. Towards the end, you're looking at recommendations, etc. Towards the beginning, you might be sharing early insights, or you're doing the diagnostic update. Hey, diagnostics going well. We still need this. You always, I think, those 3 Ps hold. Just the nature of the questions and where you need decisions versus where you're just giving an update might be different. But even if you don't need a decision, you still want to get their input, or you want to sort of test their reactions and see whether they've got hot buttons. So you need to really control how much you talk versus how much they talk while giving them the main substance. Yeah. One thing I was thinking about is there a time when the 3 Ps don't hold? I think we've talked about this before, but probably it's if there's a crisis, or if they need to, I don't know, vent, or there is a time when you're just listening, and that also happens, and you need to earn that moment, actually, because they will not often, unless it's at you, and hopefully that doesn't happen, but if they're venting or just involving you in a crisis situation and getting your feedback, you've almost already earned your kind of partner or peer stripes. But then you don't want to be doing the 3 Ps necessarily. You might be much more in a listening mode and reacting. So that's probably
and if that's what's on their mind, then accept it and realize that you can't always keep senior folks focused on the thing that you want to talk about. Like, you've got to let them speak about what they want to talk about. Awesome. All right, we're over our 5 minutes, as we always are, but we're gonna draw a line there. There's so much more we could talk about on this topic. We have to be a bit disciplined about it. So thank you very much for joining me today, Mladen. Up here, you can see QR code. So if you want to tap into the Honeycomb Consulting Skills resources, our newsletters, future webinars, etc., scan that and it'll take you to places where you can sign up. We are Honeycomb Consulting Skills Training, helping consulting team leaders develop exceptional teams. So thank you for joining us for another Live for 5, and we will see you next time. Thanks very much.
Great. Thank you.